everybody. I'm Cassidy, one of your Indianapolis Colts cheerleaders, and you're watching the Believe in Colts podcast.
Welcome back to Believe in Colts. I'm Lawrence Owen. With me, as usual, is my guy, Donald Thomas, and today we got a great preview show for you. Oh, man. Feeling really high after the game this past Sunday with the victory over the Ravens. Now we got to look forward towards a home game. Great. Finally, after two road games, undefeated road games, mind you, we get to come home back at Lucas Oil Stadium and face Matt Stafford, Aaron Donald, and the Rams. Donald, man, what's your feelings heading up into this game upcoming?
I mean, I feel good. I think the Colts should feel good. I think Colts fans should feel good, confident about this game here. You know, coming off of a tough, win on the road, to come home and face a team that, in my opinion, is a shell of what they used to be. And they, we should be excited about this game. This is definitely a winnable football game this week.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to get into the nitty gritty, some key matchups, look at the injury report, things of that nature. But before we do, I just want to remind everyone that BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, NFL, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember, use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. So, heading into the game, obviously, the biggest question for the Indianapolis Colts was, is Anthony Richardson going to be able to play? Is Ryan Kelly going to be able to play? Those are two big-time starters on this team. And yesterday, both of them got full practice, which is huge in the concussion protocol. That means possibly today they could get cleared and we're good to go. Obviously, we haven't heard anything yet because we are recording on a Thursday morning. But I'm fully expecting both these guys to be able to get out and be able to play on Sunday. How important is it to see Anthony Richardson and Ryan Kelly on the field against the Rams?
Well, I mean, like I said before, for you guys, for new listeners, both our starting quarterbacks should be back on the field. And when I say that, I'm saying, Anthony Richardson as our QB1, and then, Ryan Kelly as the starting centers, basically QB 1.5, in my opinion, right? Those are the two guys that control the offense and get them going in the right direction. So to get both those guys back, to have both those guys out is huge, right? So to get them both back at the same time will be even better for the offense to come back together. So I'm excited, man. This is a great opportunity for them to get back both on the field and get comfortable, back into running this offense. Is going to be great for the Colts.
In my opinion, look, I like Gardner Minshew, but Anthony, he's accurate, he's smart, he's a veteran, he knows how to take care of the football, he doesn't turn it over. But Anthony Richardson just brings a different element to the offense, right? And he's young, he needs the experience so that he can get better as the season progresses, right? And that's important. But to me, against the Rams, the biggest important thing is getting Ryan Kelly out there. If he's good to go, I can't wait to see him because there's a guy that's going to be on the other side of that line of scrimmage, right? That Ryan Kelly's going to see every single snap, right? I get that he's a defensive tackle, but generally you're going to double team, right? Aaron Donald,
Yeah.
sorry, not Donald Thomas. You get double teams a lot too, right? Aaron Donald's going to get double teams a lot. I got a feeling. And when it happens, because of Ryan Kelly's position, whether Donald Thomas is sitting on the left side of him or the right side
Aaron
of
Donald,
him.
I know what you mean, though.
I know. I keep saying it and I keep flipping it. I'm used
just
to
say
saying
Donald.
Your name as
just say
of late,
Donald,
man.
you'll be good. Yeah, just say Donald. You can't go wrong.
That's awesome. So Aaron Donald's going to be left side or right side of him. It's going to be important for him to be out there. I'd much rather see him than the backup in Wesley French against Aaron Donald.
I mean, exactly. I mean, you'll take that matchup any day of the week. And so you definitely want to get, Ryan Kelly back out there. My opinion is Aaron Donald hasn't been Aaron Donald that won the Super Bowl and got that sack, to win to sew up the game. We can get into that for another discussion, but there's a lot of things that offensive lines have done to scheme to slow him down, right? And so sliding the center to his way, or making sure that we slide the whole line to wherever he's at, to just give some extra help. And then, there are times where it's one-on-one and guys got to win their matchup, and they're getting paid big money too to be out there to be able to block this guy. But he definitely is a dominant force in the middle, and you got to be able to control him. I think he's way more productive in the pass game than the run game. I don't see a reason why I think we should absolutely run the ball at Aaron Donald, wear him down, because he's not as effective in the run game. If you watch him, he likes to jump out of gaps and like moving like that sometimes goes, a detriment to his success sometimes, because he jumps out of a gap and the ball goes in that gap. Right. And so and he's not a heavy guy. He's like, barely 290 something. When you look at it from an offensive line standpoint, when I used to look at a game plan and look at the roster, the scouting report, I saw a guy that was 295. I'm like, oh yeah, we can run the ball at him all day. As opposed to a guy that's 320, 330. You're like, oh shoot, he's gonna be a load in there, right? So run the ball at Aaron Donald. Well, I'm glad that we got Ryan Kelly back to kind of navigate the waters and make sure that we get some double teams on him whenever we can to slow him down.
Absolutely. Speaking of the running game, oh my goodness, I just saw a stat that was dropped by the Indianapolis Colts, and I'm shocked. Zach Moss, the running back, has played 2 games this year, and has more forced missed tackles than anyone else in the NFL right now. Holy cow. That's huge, because quite frankly, outside of Aaron Donald on this defense for the Rams, I'm not overly impressed with everybody I see out there, right? There's some decent guys, but, Aaron Donald's the only name that I see. Now, all these guys, they're professionals. They get paid. I understand that. But I feel like the Colts could really run the football against this defense. And you just stated that earlier about running it at Donald. So, is that something that you would say should be a main focus for the Colts heading into this game?
Running the football this whole year is going to be a main focus for the Colts, establishing that run game, and I think that this is a game of, like last week I said with Baltimore, I want to see them get outside the tackles, right? Because there's yards to be had when you get outside of those big burly guys, and first play of the game, that run outside the tackles, right? And there it is. I'm like, oh man, I was like, I'm about to call you up and hop on the line.
That was a beautiful cutback too.
It was, man. It was perfect. This is a game now here where I'm saying run downhill, run the ball downhill at them. If you watch how Cincinnati attacked them, there's a lot of downhill runs, right? A lot of gap scheme plays downhill at them. They couldn't hold up. They were just getting 3-4 yards a pop. And I don't think the coach should, deviate from that plan. They watch film, they see where the holes are in the defense, no pun intended, but there's holes up in the middle that they can attack. And those that linebacking core is a group of guys, I feel like, that they come up and they put their nose where it shouldn't be sometimes. And so they just get in bad spots. But I think running the ball downhill inside the tackles is going to be a key emphasis on this week's game.
Absolutely. If you run the ball downhill at a team, that's going to force them to fill that box with an extra guy, whether it be a safety or something of that nature. And that's when you can utilize Anthony Richardson in this pass game, especially on deep shots. Colts took a couple deep shots against the Ravens. Didn't exactly work out, right? Some good defensive plays, especially by the corner on that Alec Pierce down the sideline. But it was there, right? And in this situation, I feel like you could do it again. And this time it'll be Anthony Richardson throwing the football. And in college, that's what he was good at, right? He was dime. He was money on deep shots. So this is a game that I feel like the Indianapolis Colts, you run that ball downfield, down the defense's throat, so to speak. And this could be that first game where the Indianapolis Colts and Anthony Richardson could really open up downfield shots this season.
Yeah. Run the ball effectively, and now we can open up the play action pass. And I think now we get a chance to, if we can start running the ball, we get into that shot zone I call, take a shot between the 40 and the 40. We get in that little shot zone, play action pass, get a ball over the top of the safety because now their eyes are in the backfield because they're so used to us running the ball so effectively. And there it is, Michael Pittman, 60-yard touchdown pass. I'm calling it right now, Colts fans. I see it. I feel it. I'm calling it, right? 60-yard touchdown pass, first big play, explosive play of the year for, Pittman and Richardson connection. I got to come up with a little nickname for that too, right? But, yeah, no, par or something like that. I don't know. Raps. I don't know. We'll come up with that. But what I'm saying is there's going to be some type of big plays to be had once the run game really gets established, and people have to respect it, right? If you respect it, it's play action passes there all game because you don't know what it's going to be, right? So that's why I said all year this year to help Anthony Richardson out is establishing the run game, right? Establishing the run game.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I have, it's been harped on all year is, protecting the football, the turnover ratio, right? The team that wins the turnover ratio usually wins 83% of the time or some crazy number like that. So you absolutely have to protect the football and get turnovers on defense. So let's flip over to the defense right now, who's second in the NFL in forced fumbles and fumble recoveries. Not as many interceptions, but boy, those guys go after the football. They go after strip sacks. They rip the ball out of guys' hands as they're running down the sideline looking for a touchdown, things of that nature, touchdown saving plays. How important is it going to be this game? Do you think that that Anthony Richardson will be able to, not just Anthony Richardson, but the team in itself, be able to play safe? Because you're talking about taking shots downfield. Sometimes those shots aren't safe plays, right?
Right. No, well, I'm saying from a standpoint of to start to be able to take a shot or two. We're not going to just say, Anthony, this is Gainesville and go out there and do your thing, right? We're not saying that. What we're saying is we're opening it up to give you a chance to showcase your ability to be able to throw the ball downfield, right? Like, we got a thoroughbred in the stable, and we're over here just trotting. We're just waiting to freaking, let him out and let him go. He's ready to run, but you're like, you got to crawl before you walk, right? You got to walk before you run. And so, you can't just let him. He's still got to understand, these guys, this is in college where you could just expose a safety or two because he just can't keep up. Like, everybody can keep up in the NFL. So all I'm saying is that we just have to be able to, do one thing well to help him out to be able to do his thing. And why we drafted him, why everyone's so high on him from a athleticism standpoint. But defense is key. Like, defense is key for Anthony's success. Whether people truly realize that or not, the defense is what's going to help Anthony out tremendously. And I'll let you navigate those waters when we get to it, but they're going to be key getting after the quarterback this week.
That's a great segue because I am ready to go talk about the Indianapolis Colts defense right now. Oh, my goodness. Before we get in too hard into it, I want to talk about the injury reports because I feel like this really favors the Indianapolis Colts right now. The Colts right now, there is one injury for the Colts fans to kind of keep an eye on. We discussed this a little bit before we started recording. That was DeForest Buckner. Fresh on the injury report, not practicing on Wednesday with a groin injury. And that could be two different things, right? I'll let you go ahead and explain that.
Yeah, well, I told you, right? Don't look too much into that injury. Veteran guys, and I spent some time in the training room, as some people may know. But as you just progress in your career, teams know what they're going to get out of their veteran guys. And when a guy comes in early in the season, middle of the season, doesn't matter. He's a veteran guy, and he's got a tweak of some sort. And it's Wednesday or Tuesday getting treatments, you're not going to practice on Wednesday because we need you on Sunday. I know what I'm going to get out of you. I can trust it. I know you're going to know the game plan. I know you're going to watch film. I know you're not going to be a distraction during practice on the sidelines. Let's let you get healthy because I need you on Sunday. I don't need you on Wednesday. You've proven yourself. So I tell people all the time, don't look too much into that injury report when you start seeing veteran guys up there, or you have a thoroughbred. I guarantee Tyreek Hill comes in and said that, his he didn't get enough sleep and he just has a headache. Oh, okay. Well, you go home on Wednesday because we know what we get out of you on Sunday. So it's no different. A guy like DeForest Buckner is one of those guys where if he says he has something, you're like, go ahead and rest because I need you Sunday.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just pay attention to what it looks like on Friday, right?
Right.
I mean, watch the injury report for Friday. Wednesday and Thursday, not so big of an importance. However, when you flip over to the Rams injury report on offense, there's two very, very big injuries that, with no practices that you have to keep an eye on. Alaric Jackson, their starting left tackle who missed last week due to his hamstring, also missed yesterday, right? Has not practiced yet. That's huge. That is absolutely huge. And then a fresh face on this injury report for the Rams is tight end Tyler Higbee. And he's dealing with an Achilles injury, and he has not practiced. And without him, Tyler Higbee, I know that he's not considered a top 5 tight end in the NFL, but to me, Tyler Higbee is very similar to like what the Colts had in Jack Doyle, a very good blocker with a safety blanket kind of, for his quarterback, right?
Yeah, I mean, the tight end position is, I don't know how people really understand that, is so important to the success of your offense. So when you see a player like Tyler Higbee, he's not going to light up the stat sheet with receptions and receiving yards and all that kind of stuff. But look at the run game, right? When you're in that personnel where, you got 2 tight ends on the field or even 1 tight end on the field, and you're still effective with the run game because he's a key part on the front side of that run game, getting it going. He can, he sets great double teams with the tackles. Then he's able to open up the pass game and get open. He's got short enough hands where Stafford feels comfortable with getting him some balls, during the game. So that's huge. And if you have a guy that comes in tight end that's not as good as a blocker, if you look at the scouting report, there are other tight ends dealing with an Achilles injury as well. So you got your 2 starting tight ends that are down right now. Is huge as a huge loss for their offense, right? And it'll show in the run game when they're forced to bring in that subpar, tight end. They can't really block as well, and it's going to show, man. And you got the tackles out. So I'm like, Quinny, stat game. Let's go. Let's get you two of those sacks this week, right? So this is looking good for the Colts defensively. Like seriously, like. My only thing is you got to apply pressure to Matthew Stafford. This is a veteran quarterback. This is a good quarterback. Like a lot of people, like I told people my whole career, like, because I was in Detroit for a year and I tend to forget about that because that was actually probably the worst year of my life in 2010, but we won't even go there. But what I'm saying is I always said, hey, Stafford he's good. He's just stuck in Detroit. Like Calvin Johnson had a lot of yards because of Matthew Stafford. And so it showed when he went to LA, boom, Super Bowl, right? So you can't let him sit back there and just get comfortable. Make him move around. He's an Aaron Rodgers like body type where if he gets a hit, to the sidelines we go because he's at that age now. He's getting a little fragile too. If you notice, when he gets hit or he has to start running around, we got a hand meet. We got this. We got that with him. So they got to get after him because he'll pick you apart if you just let him sit there. He's good.
Oh, yes, he is. Historically, with the Colts playing against him, he has really utilized. He's taken the Colts zone defensive scheme, which we have had since Matt Eberflus was here as the head coach, and he has chewed up yardage. I mean, absolutely chewed up yardage in a zone because if you can't get pressure on him, a veteran quarterback will chew yardage up all day in a zone defense. You got to get, like you said, you got to get pressure on him. You got to be able to force him to throw before he's ready, make him make bad decisions. The one knock on Stafford that I can say is when he does have pressure on him, he can sometimes make really poor, oh shit decisions. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah,
where he just releases the football and tries to force something, and that's where you can get a turnover or something.
Yeah. Well, and you also have to take into account, which a lot of people don't really do sometimes, is he's been behind a lot of bad offensive lines. So like something like, it's like PTSD or something like that, right? When you're Like he's ready to get rid of that football when he sees any opposite color coming at him. He just makes a bad throw because he has been behind guys that were kind of, not as good, especially when he was in Detroit, right? So he still makes those bad decisions. Sometimes he might overthrow a ball, pick, right? Or just kind of throw it straight to the defender. You're like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Because he just has like that, I don't want to get hit like that again mentality. But he that's been one of his like little knocks on him, is that he does turn the ball over a little bit, more than the average quarterback that you consider to be elite. And so that's kind of been one of those things where I'm like, we got to get after him. You get after him and make him very, very uncomfortable early in the football game. He's going to be thinking about all those bad seasons he had before where he doesn't want to get hurt. And then you get him to run, and then someone tees off on him. It's curtain call. He goes out the game, it's over.
If you were the DC, just put yourself in the DC position right now. Say you're, a normally zone heavy defensive coordinator like Gus Bradley is. Do you kind of almost repeat your performance from the Ravens and go a lot of blitz heavy kind of play calls in this to try to rattle and keep Stafford off his line? Or do you start out with your front four and see how they work out?
No, yeah, I start out with my front four trying to get pressure on them. I'm going to trust. I'm going to tee those guys up and make them understand how important it is for them to get after the quarterback, because you got to think it's a different game plan this week, just because we're not dealing with a mobile quarterback, right? Mm-hmm. So like we can kind of we can use our front four and have like that middle linebacker sitting in the middle of the field. When and if Stafford decides to take off, we got a guy that's pretty much almost QB spying on him to take off and get him. It's not going to be hard to run Matthew Stafford down. So it's a different type of defensive approach, in my opinion. Let the front four get pressure, see what we can get. Now, if we can't get enough pressure and he starts to pick the zone apart, we got to bring an outside, linebacker blitz, or bring some up the middle, surprise him real quick, make him make a bad decision, and play over the top of that. But I would definitely start off from the front four, just getting pressure right away.
All right. I like that. I feel like you should. I feel the same way. See what the front four is able to do on their own. The first few drives, 2-3 drives. See if you're able to get an edge over there. I love the Samson Ebukam on the edge. He's been having a great start of this season as well, especially against a backup left tackle. I think that's going to be great. DeForest Buckner, Grover Stewart up the gut. Oh my goodness. Stop the run. That way you force them to pass. Make sure you get them into third and longs, your third and eights, your third and sixes, stuff like that. That way you can tee off and get after him. Well, I think it's time for prediction mode, and I'm just going to turn it right on over to you. Let's see what your prediction is. We both chose the Ravens last week. I wonder if that's going to happen.
So here I'm going Colts this game. All right. And I'm going 21-17 Colts. I think this is a game where it's going to be a defensive showdown towards the end of the game, where whoever's defense prevails stops them. I just have this feeling that, I feel like the Rams will have a late drive and the Colts are going to show up on defense and shut them down, and Lucas Oil is going to go nuts. So I just feel like it's going to be a relatively it's not a 70-20 game, but it's going to be 3 scores for us, 3 scores for them, and I'm saying 21-17 Colts.
I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to go way out there. All right. So the Colts are favored by 1.5 in this game.
Well, right now it's even.
Oh, it moved to even now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow. So yesterday it was 1.5.
Yeah, it moved to even
yesterday morning.
As of right now, I just checked it out. It's even.
With the injury report and the matchup, I like this matchup for the Colts. I got 31-17.
Okay.
Right? I got 31-17, and I think I feel like in the fourth quarter it's going to be 28-10, and then the Colts will go zone, and kind of give up some yards, give up a point, but the offense will get a field goal or something with a tack on top of it, and they'll, that prevent, eat clock type deal. You'll hear the craziness of Colts fans. What are you doing? I do that sometimes too. It is what it is. But the Colts walk away with a very convincing victory, in my opinion, in this game.
Okay. I'm with you on that. I mean, a win is a win, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't see this Rams team being able to stop. If Anthony Richardson plays and we have some of those, RPOs where Anthony Richardson takes off, I don't think they have the guys to stop him. I feel like he could break some yardage here.
It's not about the guy stopping him. It's about him taking hits like Cam Newton. There were guys that couldn't stop Cam Newton, but they still hit him whenever they could to hurt him. And so that's what I'm worried about. Like, I'm just from a player standpoint, like I just know that these guys are gonna be like, yo, I'm not letting this big dude just run around the field. I'm gonna get my head off on him.
I feel like if the Colts are able to run downfield with Zach Moss the way you say, I feel like him holding it on an RPO and taking off, there will be times when you're going to see Anthony Richardson in the open field running. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Expect a couple big runs by Anthony Richardson, in my opinion. Should he slide or run out of bounds if someone gets near him? Hell yeah. But I feel like there's going to be at least a couple big open field runs for him.
Yeah,
I think that's going to do it here for us at Believe in Colts. I'm Lawrence Owen. That was Donald Thomas. This was Believe in Colts, brought to you by Bet Online. And as usual, go Colts.
Go Colts.
Do you believe?